What's up, everyone? I am back with another review, and this is American Horror Stories season 2, episode 2. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the episode felt a little long, even though it was 40 something minutes. The episode felt a little long, but at the same time, it was good. At the same time, it wasn't horrible or anything like that. And this episode makes you, become more cautious about doorbells. Especially like Ring doorbells at that. Oh my goodness. So basically, I miss seeing Gabourey on American Horror Stories. I haven't watched it in a while, but when Gabourey is on here, she is good and she is doing her thing on here. I miss her as Queenie. Queenie was everything in her. Like, she brings all her characters that's on this show to life. Her, Angela Bassett, and another number of characters, Not only that, but other actors and actors on this show as well. And also, whoever played Hendrik did a good job because he was so creepy. But anyway, let's get into it. So basically, Gabourey's character is Jasleen, right? So basically, the reason why this episode is centered around the doorbell is because I'm gonna give you like a quick story that happened in an episode that happened a while when she was a kid. So when she was a kid, basically there was this guy who was pretty much broke into her house. And basically broke into her house, came into her room. He had this bunny mask on, and he basically told her shh, go back to sleep. And she did so, but as she did so, she also heard her parents get murdered, and he basically tied her parents up and killed them. So ever since then, she was traumatized and she wanted to be more cautious. So that's what basically is happening. So basically, she saw in the store this doorbell, which pretty much is like Ring. It kind of gives you like a Ring vibe. So basically, this bell, helps you see who's there. And you can be able to communicate with the people that's outside. And she was like, okay, it's only $1.99, so I'm gonna get it. So basically, she is she do crafts. She has her own business, like a jewelry business. So she make her own jewelry and she sells it. So her shop is about to launch. So she was like, because her husband was like, are you serious? This is the last thing we need is all these expenses. So she was like, yeah, I'm gonna add it. It's fine because I'm gonna have my business open so I can easily, make that money up. So it is what it is. So he was like, okay, and he installed the doorbell onto the door. And after he installed the doorbell on the door, he basically told her that he's gonna leave for his job, and his job is way farther from the house. I say farther is further away from the house. I don't know, but listen, I'm not gonna edit this out. It is what it is. We're talking here, so I'm not gonna edit it out. So hey, I'm back anyway. So Queenie, or aka Jasleen, I always want to call her Queenie. I'm sorry. I'm so used to seeing her as Queenie. And I know that she played other characters in this franchise. But anyway, let's get into it. So she's, in the house, right? Then she started getting these notifications that someone's at the door. So she go and look at the door, the app, because the doorbell has the app. It's this creepy guy, and it's Hendrix. He's at the door. He's I'm gonna show you a picture of him. This dude is at the door. He was like, Jasleen, let me in. I just want to talk. Please let me in. And he looks so creepy, please let me in. And then she goes near the door, and then she creeps herself out. And it got to a point where he kept doing it, and he got to a point where she called the cops. The cops came there. The cops interviewed other neighbors, and they was like, well, hey. And one of the other neighbors was like, oh, I got some more clips over here. I got like footage from the cameras. So they ended up playing the clips from the cameras. No one was there. Basically, they didn't do anything because they basically thought, they basically were saying that you maybe were wrong and basically, kind of, in a way, dismissed her as crazy in a way. So, this instance, she's like, what's going on? So, she keep having this experience happening to her. She kept having it happening to her. It kept happening with, like, this dude constantly at the door. And it got to a point when her husband literally opened the door like, okay, hey, what's up? And the guy wasn't there. And that's when the husband was like, you know what? I don't know why I didn't think of this before. It's obvious that, like, this person obviously hacked the doorbell system and is playing tricks and games with you. Why did I not think of this? He literally hacked into, like, the system of the doorbell and is playing games with you. And he thought it was just like, a computer whiz that hacked into the system and started playing, games with her and putting these deep fakes in the database to, like, have it seem like someone is at the door, but really it's not. But we really don't know. We really don't know. It's like, yeah, it probably could be, but we're still like, something ain't right. But Jaslyn is pretty much, one answers. So she goes to, like, one of the family members of, like, Hendrix. And she told her some information. Told her that, he really was never out the house like that. He was always in, but one day he left and never came back. And she gave Jaslyn the only picture that, she has of him. And basically, once she saw that picture, it looked just like the person at the door. So Hendrix is the person that's at the door. Then she goes back home. And she's at home, right? Then he had a knock at the door. And then, like, we see is Hendrix at the door. And then she was like, you know what? Forget about it. She opens the door. And it looked like no one's there. But as she closed the door, that's when Hendrix is in the house. And Hendrix was like, you know what? I just wanted to see you. You know how I told you that I wanted to see you? I kind of lied to you. And she was like, what do you mean you lied to me? I not only wanted to come in and see you, but I also want to apologize to you. I want to apologize to you for how I made you feel in high school. I apologize to make you feel like that, like, you were a certain way or you felt a certain way. I apologize. And when they made peace about it, that's when he, like, disappeared. He broke down into dust and disappeared. So then, like, she ended up Jaslyn ended up telling her husband about it, which is kind of like it was a good idea, but at the same time, he was like, what? He was like not believing it. He was like, really? You literally let him in, and all he wanted was an apology, and then he, like, disappeared. Come on. And that's before. Okay, pause. I'll pause right here, and this is when I'm gonna tell you guys about her seeing this news clip. So she saw this news video, or like the watching the news, and she finds out that Hendrix been missing for 2 months, and she found out that he is really dead. He is dead. They found his body not long, so he's been dead about 2 months. So for 2 months he's been dead. And he's in the doorbell. And she was just talking to him. And then she made peace with him. And he's gone. And she found out that he's dead. That's crazy. I was like, what? And then not only that, but also it came. And then, like, when they were talking, then all of a sudden, now she get another notification. And it's this woman that's at the door. And she's like knocking and knocking and knocking. And she was like, let me in. But before that, he was basically, was doubting her, saying, no, we ain't gonna do it. No, we ain't gonna open no doors. Stay away from doors. But before then, I forgot to tell you guys, the husband actually took the doorbell system off and threw it away, and then he didn't want her to take it at all. He wanted her to like leave it alone. He wanted her to get over it, all that stuff. But she took the doorbell out and put the doorbell back, and that's when she saw like Hendrix and kept seeing it. So then we're gonna go back right now to this lady that's at the door. She's at the door and she was like, "Let me in," but the girl is not here for Jasleen. The girl's really here for the husband, which is like, what's his name? Brad, or is it Brad, or it was someone. I'm gonna call him the husband. So the girl's here for the husband, and Jasleen was like, "Okay, what do you know? Do you know her? What do you know about her?" She was like, I don't know. Forget about it. It's crazy, forget about it. Then he goes upstairs and she starts to do more research on this girl, and she finds out that she was someone, I think her name was Mary Jane something. I think it was something else. The last name started with a B. So she basically was hit and killed. She died from a hit and run. So she died from a hit and run from a drunk driver, and it was a park that was dedicated to her, because I think that's where she was killed at, because the highway that she was killed at turned into a park. So they like made a memorial for her, which was a bench. So that's where she finds out who this lady really is. So I thought, like, at first I thought maybe the husband was probably the one who killed her, but it came to a good twist. I wasn't expecting the twist to happen either. So Jasleen confront her husband about this lady, saying like, okay, obviously I did my research, and he basically was trying to like say like, I don't know who this person is. I do not know. And that's when the doorbell rings again, and that's when she gets the notification that someone is at the door. But before that, she was like, because before then, Jasleen, she was like, what if this doorbell is like really supernatural, as in could be able to like see dead people. And then that's when Jasleen is basically showing him this video about how many people are starting to see people or relatives as dead. And basically this doorbell has like literally like a way of seeing people that's in the supernatural, or in other words, who have died or crossed over. So he's still doubtful. He was like, nah, that's stupid. Then, no, but like I said earlier, before I talk about this, the doorbell ringed again, or like notification came on, and lo and behold, Mary Jane is back, and she's like, let me in. And Jasleen was like, you know what, I'm gonna open the door. We need to see what she wants. And that's what happened. She came in, and then that's when we see that like Mary Jane's like here, but she's holding this baby, and she was like talking to the husband, like telling the husband, basically she's really wanted to see the husband. And Jasleen was like, what's going on? Do you know her? And Mary Jane kept telling the husband like, you better tell her. And that's when he ended up breaking down, saying that she is really his fiance. And when he was telling the story on what happened the night that she died, he was leaving a lot of parts out, because he don't want like Jasleen to know the truth about what happened, because he was like saying that, okay, we came into this disagreement, we was arguing, and then that's when I broke off the engagement for certain reasons. She got out and she left, and I never saw her again, and that's when I found out she was dead. And then that's when Mary Mary Jane basically like was making the story like make sense, because she put in certain details that made everything make sense. And that's when we found out that the real reason as to what he ended up, confessing anyway, the real reason why he wanted to end things was because she was pregnant and he didn't want to have a child. So that's the reason why. And then as she was about to leave and walk away from the situation, that's when, as she was walking, she didn't see the car coming, and as she walked, it hit her. But she survived. She survived the hit and run. But what made it more crazier and more messed up was because of the fact that the husband, that Jaslene's husband, didn't want to have the baby with his previous fiance that died. He literally took his like foot and put it over on her neck and crushed her neck and broke her neck and killed her, because he didn't want to have a child with her, or really didn't want to have a child in general. And basically we find out that the ex-fiance really didn't come there for peace. She really came there for vengeance in a way. Because when he was about to he actually had got this fire picker. What's that? Is it a fire picker or whatever that? It's one of the fireplace tools. He grabbed that and he was about to kill Jasleen, because he was like, well, yeah, I didn't want no one to find out about this, and I didn't want this to happen. I didn't want a baby and stuff like that. And that's when he was like, you know what? And that's when he was like, you know what? And that's when he turned it on her and about to hit her with the fireplace tool. And that's when that Mary Jane basically turned that around on him and started literally killing him and having the blood drain out of his get out of his face and out his ears and killed him. And then that happened, and then a couple months later, she is done with it. She moved out and moved to an apartment. And her shop, she has the shop too. And she was like, what's going on? Because of the fact that this guy, the property manager, he said I installed your new doorbell here. And she was like, wait, a new doorbell? I told y'all I don't want this doorbell. And he was like, ma'am, I'm sorry about this, but it's required. We have to install the doorbell. So yeah. And that's when she was like, oh yep, great. And that's when the app was like, oh, we're gonna connect you to the new doorbell. And that's where we see this cliffhanger, ding dong. And then she looked in the phone app, and that's where we see this crazy husband here. Her crazy husband who got killed, basically who got justfully killed, because I can't really feel bad for him, because he literally killed someone because of the fact that you didn't want to have a baby with her. That was just crazy. But then, he come in there, he was like, open the door. And he's, flipping out and, banging on the door, and literally, trying to, jib on the knob and bang on the door, because he want Jasleen to let her. He literally wanted Jasleen to let him in. And then that's where it ended. And personally, this is how I feel about the episode. I actually liked the episode. It was pretty good, but it was pretty slow. But I feel like this could have been a good movie. I wish this could have been a good season. Actually, either they could make this into a good season or a good movie, because I would like to see a origin of how this all got started, because it's pretty good. I actually liked it. It was pretty slow, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Even though it was a little slow, I still, liked the episode. And yeah, if you like the video, comment, and subscribe. And also, let me know your thoughts. If you like the episode, you like the episode. If you like my, you've liked, the points that I touched, or if you felt like I forgot some points or off on some points, let me know. We all are, here for correction. So yeah. So I see you all later, and bye, y'all.